The alarm chimed across the station, short, sharp pulses that rattled through the corridors. Kelry's 4 arms moved automatically, adjusting instructors, checking schedules, and reviewing the arrival logs. The human contingent had landed. 15 new cadets, mixed specialties, and the rumors swirling around them promised chaos. Every veteran at Obsidian 7 had heard the stories. Humans were unpredictable, stubborn, and somehow survived in ways no other species could. Kelry's claws clicked against the railing as they made their way to the docking bay. The other cadets noticed immediately. The Kraloxians stopped chattering, their mandibles trembling slightly. The Pelvarians tucked their wings closer, eyes darting nervously. Even the top Sarek student, a creature bred for tactical precision, paused mid-step, tongue flicking in alert. Something about humans made instinctive fear ripple across the station. The docking bay doors hissed open. Sunlight, or the artificial equivalent, spilled across the polished floor. 15 humans stepped out, standing in crisp coalition uniforms, their posture easy, confident, and almost absurdly relaxed for a species that had barely joined the Galactic Coalition 6 cycles ago. The lead human, a man named Marcus Webb, moved forward. He smiled, showing teeth in a gesture Kelry had spent cycles learning to interpret. "Lieutenant Webb," he said, extending a hand. Kelry hesitated, then reached out one arm, gripping carefully. The human's eyes met theirs, forward-facing, sharp, almost predatory. He had a presence that made it hard to tell if he would laugh, fight, or both. "Welcome to Obsidian 7, Kelry said, voice steady despite the unusual sensation in their chest. "I trust your journey was acceptable?" "Absolutely," Marcus replied, grin widening. "Your pilot looked nervous when we asked about weapon systems, but curiosity got the better of us." He chuckled, light and easy, yet carrying a strange authority. Kelry motioned for the humans to follow, guiding them toward their assigned quarters. The station itself was a labyrinth of corridors, lifts, and observation decks. 4,000 personnel from 63 species navigated the maze daily, each trying not to trigger another's environmental sensitivities or ancestral fears. Humans, Kelry noticed, navigated it with a calm that bordered on reckless. They didn't look lost. They didn't pause to check data pads. They simply moved. Once settled, Kelry retreated to their office. Poor Vine, the insectoid tactical officer, was already waiting, compound eyes flicking over every monitor with precision. "The humans have arrived," Vine clicked, mandibles tapping. "I have already logged 3 safety regulation inquiries and a request to modify gravity settings in quarters for workout purposes." Kelry exhaled slowly, leaning back in a chair that groaned under their weight. "Wonderful," they muttered. "What could possibly go wrong?" Hours passed, and the station began its usual rhythm, but Kelry noticed the cadets were unusually quiet. Even the most seasoned students avoided the human quarters, moving through hallways with caution. Whispers traveled faster than messages through the station's comm network. Everyone had heard the stories, but now they had seen the humans. They were calm, unfazed, and eerily confident. Later, Kelry conducted their routine inspection of the recreation hall, a space designed for decompression. Mixed atmospheric zones, variable gravity fields, and cultural entertainment stations filled the area. Even with all the measures in place, the atmosphere was tense. Cadets lingered near the doors, watching the human quarters from afar, curiosity battling with instinctive caution. One of the Sarek students, Tiz, had her attention elsewhere. Her newest project, an exotic creature brought for research, was under strict containment protocols. Kelry noted the careful adjustments of the environment and the protective barriers. The cadets around the area maintained wide margins of safety, giving the containment zone a wide berth. Marcus Webb appeared suddenly, boots thumping with that heavy human rhythm that seemed to echo across the metal floor. He paused at the edge of the observation deck, scanning the room like he was assessing every angle, every cadet, every detail. His grin was the same effortless expression, an anomaly among a sea of nervous, tense faces. "Interesting place," he said, voice carrying just enough amusement to make Kelry's tail twitch in mild irritation. "A lot of rules, a lot of careful planning. Feels alive though." Kelry nodded, observing him carefully. Humans didn't seem to react the way any other species did. There was no hesitation, no fear, no instinctive need to retreat. They walked through danger zones casually, interacting with the environment as if it belonged to them. Yet there was a sharpness in every step, a precision in every glance that betrayed experience, training, and an unusual ability to adapt. Other cadets shuffled past, whispering in hurried tones. "Do you think they know what they're walking into? Are they dangerous? Or foolish?" Every question hung unanswered because Kelry did not yet know. Humans were unpredictable. That much was clear. Marcus finally reached the center of the recreation hall. He paused, surveying the cadets, the environment, the controlled chaos of the station. Then, without warning, he tilted his head, letting a small, amused smile spread across his face. "I like it here," he said softly, almost to himself. "Feels like a challenge." Kelry felt the stir of tension in the room grow, subtle but undeniable. Everyone sensed it, though no one could articulate why. Humans were new to the coalition, but somehow already they were changing the air, the way everyone moved and breathed in the station. It was unsettling. "Lieutenant Webb," Kelry said carefully, crossing all four arms. "You will be assigned orientation sessions tomorrow. Follow protocol and remember, this is not your home world." Marcus tilted his head again, his grin unshaken. "Don't worry. I don't plan to break anything, at least not intentionally." The cadets shifted uneasily at that, exchanging glances that mixed fear, curiosity, and awe. Kelry's instinct screamed that today would be long, unpredictable, and perhaps history-making. The humans had arrived. And somehow they made everything in the station feel alive. Kelry watched them move through the hall, confident, fearless, and impossibly calm. A slow, deep part of their reptilian mind realized this. Humans were unlike anything they had trained before. They were chaos with purpose, unpredictability sharpened into instinct, and perhaps, just perhaps, something remarkable was about to unfold. The station hummed with its usual energy, but an unusual tension had settled over the upper decks. Rumors of the humans' calmness spread like wildfire. Most cadets tried to avoid the new arrival, but curiosity gnawed at them. No one expected what was coming next. Kelry had just finished reviewing the environmental logs when the alarm blared, a deep, resonant roar vibrating through every metal corridor. The sound was primal, raw, and unlike anything the station sensors had ever recorded. The cadets froze, instinct and fear rooting them to the floor. Compound eyes widened, wings folded tight, claws dug into the floor. Every species reacted differently, but every reaction shared one emotion: terror. Containment breach. Level 4. Vine's voice rang sharp through the hall. Mandibles clicked in rapid anxiety. "The specimen, it's outside its enclosure." Chaos erupted. Cadets ran toward the observation decks, some tripping over the polished floor, others trying to communicate panic through gestures and rapid signals. Kelry's tail lashed as they sprinted, heart pounding, trying to maintain order. From the observation deck, the silhouette appeared. A massive shape, far larger than any training creature, moved with terrifying grace. Its skin rippled with scales and fur, a hybrid of predator instincts. Eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, scanning the hall with intent. Every movement sent echoes through the station, reverberating into bones, making even the bravest crew shiver. A scream cut the air. One of the cadets had frozen too long and stumbled near the creature. It paused, sniffed, then let out a low guttural growl that shook the deck panels. Another cadet yelped and ducked behind a railing, whispering frantically, "It knows we're here. It can smell fear." Marcus Webb stepped forward calmly, boots heavy against the metal. "Stand down," he said, voice firm but light, like he was speaking to an old friend. The cadets blinked in disbelief. No one dared argue. The creature's growl rolled again, vibrating through their chests. Kelry shouted, trying to regain control. "Everyone stay calm. Retreat to safe zones. Do not provoke it." But the human moved closer, each step measured, fearless. The cadets whispered, "Why isn't it afraid? Why is it walking toward the monster?" The beast snarled, muscles coiling, tail flicking dangerously. It lowered its head, fangs gleaming under the overhead lights. Its eyes locked onto Marcus, and for a moment, the station seemed frozen in suspense. Marcus crouched slightly, tilting his head, and a sound escaped him. Not a growl, not a yell, but a low, playful hum. The beast paused. A subtle flick of its ears, a twitch of its tail. It seemed confused, intrigued. The cadets couldn't believe their eyes. Every instinct screamed to flee, but the human stood still, unshaken, almost friendly. "Easy, easy," Marcus murmured. He extended a hand, palm forward, and the creature sniffed the air. A deep growl rumbled from its throat, but it didn't attack. Kelry's claws flexed anxiously, ready to intervene, but something in the human's calm presence seemed to slow the beast's aggression. One cadet whispered, voice trembling, It's listening to him, somehow." Another muttered, "This isn't possible. No human can do that." The creature took a cautious step closer, nostrils flaring, muscles coiled for instant reaction. Marcus let out a soft chuckle, tilting his head. "You're bigger than I expected. Don't worry, we'll get along." The cadets gasped audibly at the casual tone. Kelry motioned for backup, but Vine's voice came sharp over comms. "Don't engage. It's not following standard threat protocols." Observing, strange behavior detected. The monster's eyes shifted, focusing entirely on Marcus. Its tail thumped against the floor, sending vibrations through the hall. The cadets shivered as the roar of the beast turned into a low rumble, almost contemplative. It was as if it was weighing the human's intent, considering whether he was prey, threat, or something else entirely. One of the cadets, shaking violently, cried out, "It's going to attack. He's dead." But Marcus only laughed softly, voice warm, unafraid. "Not today," he said. The beast crouched slightly, body tensing, then with a sudden, surprising move, it lowered its massive head until it touched Marcus's chest lightly. A collective gasp filled the observation deck. The cadets froze, staring at the impossible scene. The human patted the creature, eyes bright with amusement, and the low growl softened into a gentle purr-like rumble. Kelry's instincts screamed. Never had they seen a cadet, human or otherwise, control a creature of such raw power with nothing but presence. The other cadets were frozen, unable to comprehend the human's fearlessness. Marcus straightened, smiling at the cadets. "It's okay," he said lightly. "You don't need to be scared. Just give it space." His laughter echoed across the hall, strange and disarming. Even the beast seemed amused now, ears twitching, tail swishing slowly. Kelry exhaled, tail curling tightly around their feet. This human was different. They had survived on instincts, on calm, on something that made the station's most terrifying creatures hesitate. It was unnerving. And the cadets knew, deep in their hearts, that the calmness of this human had just shifted the rules of the station. The beast stepped back slightly, still alert, still massive, but the tension lifted enough for the cadets to inch closer, trembling, whispering, trying to understand what they had just witnessed. Marcus chuckled again, patting his chest. "See? Not so bad, huh?" The station was alive with whispers, fear, and awe. Kelry knew that this was only the beginning. The human had arrived, the nightmare beast had appeared, and nothing would ever be the same. The station's lights flickered as the cadets gathered around the observation deck, still trembling from the earlier encounter. Whispers ran through the group like an electric current. Marcus stood at the center, calm as ever, while the nightmare beast lingered nearby, its massive frame moving with a strange mix of wariness and curiosity. "Is it really following him?" one cadet whispered, voice shaking so much the words nearly broke. Kelry's claws dug into the metal floor. "I've never seen anything like this. It should have attacked. Every protocol fails here," they muttered, scanning the monitors obsessively. The human crouched again, eyes level with the creature's, a small smile playing on his lips. "Hey big guy. I know you're curious. I get it. You've got questions." "So do I," Marcus said, voice calm, but with an edge of playfulness that made the cadets stare. The nightmare beast sniffed cautiously, its ears flicking. A low growl rolled from its chest, deep and threatening, but not aimed at Marcus. It was almost like a challenge, testing him, daring him to cross the line. One of the cadets, trembling, asked, Do you really think he can control it?" Marcus chuckled softly. "Control? Nah. I'm not here to control. I'm here to understand." The beast's tail flicked sharply, knocking over a railing, but Marcus didn't flinch. Slowly he extended his hand, fingers relaxed. The cadets held their breath. The creature's massive head lowered cautiously, nostrils flaring, eyes studying Marcus with intense focus. Then, in a single, smooth motion, it nudged his hand with its snout. A collective gasp ran through the room. "Unbelievable," Kelry whispered. "It's testing him." Marcus laughed lightly. "Good. I like tests." He stood, eyes locking with the beast's. "But I have a few questions for you too." The cadets watched in awe as the human and the nightmare beast circled each other, a silent dance of understanding and instinct. Every muscle in the creature's body was coiled like a spring, ready to explode, yet restrained by curiosity. The human mirrored its movements, careful not to provoke aggression, letting his presence speak louder than words. Suddenly the beast leapt, moving faster than anyone expected. Its claws scraped the floor, leaving deep gouges. The cadets froze in horror, expecting an attack. But Marcus didn't move. Instead, he turned slightly, letting the creature pass beside him, close enough that its fur brushed against his arm. A nervous cadet shouted, "He's going to die. Step back." Marcus laughed, a clear, fearless sound. I told you not today. The nightmare beast paused, tail flicking, eyes narrowing, not in anger but in calculation. Then it circled back, lowering itself into a crouch, observing Marcus like a predator studying its equal. Kelry exhaled slowly. It's curious. It's actually curious. That's why it hasn't attacked. Marcus crouched, patting the floor gently. You're smart, strong, and scared, aren't you? That's okay. We all get scared sometimes. The beast's growl softened and a shiver ran through its massive body. One cadet, emboldened by what they were seeing, edged closer. Human, are you really not afraid? I am, Marcus admitted, voice calm. But fear doesn't mean we run. Sometimes it means we listen. Watch. Learn. He gestured toward the creature. And right now it's teaching me a lot. The nightmare beast crouched lower, studying every subtle movement, every shift in Marcus's posture. The cadets noticed its ears twitching, nostrils flaring, and tail swishing rhythmically. It was as if the creature was running through countless calculations, trying to decide whether this human was a threat, or something else entirely. Vine's voice came over the intercom, tight with tension. Observation logs show unusual behavioral patterns. It's not following standard predator instincts. The human's influence is beyond expected parameters. Marcus smiled faintly. I think it's trying to figure me out. I'm trying the same thing with it. He moved closer, tilting his head. The nightmare beast mirrored him slightly, each movement a silent test of boundaries. Kelry whispered to themselves, claws tightening. It's learning from him. From how calm he is. From his confidence. From his laughter. The cadets exchanged wide-eyed glances. They had trained for months, studied every dangerous creature in the station, yet none had ever responded to anyone this way. The human's presence, his calm curiosity, had shifted the balance entirely. The beast crouched lower and then, without warning, it bounded toward Marcus. The cadets screamed, certain this was the end. But Marcus didn't flinch. He laughed, a clear ringing sound that echoed through the observation deck, and the creature skidded to a stop, barely a meter from him. It lowered its massive head, sniffed, and nudged him gently once more. The cadets watched in stunned silence. Marcus's calm, playful confidence had passed the first challenge. The nightmare beast's curiosity had been piqued. A bond had started, not of dominance, not of fear, but of mutual understanding. Kelry's tail wrapped tightly around their feet. I don't know what's happening, they murmured. But this human, he's changing everything we know about these creatures. Marcus laughed softly, brushing imaginary dust off his shoulder. See? Not so scary when you take the time to understand. The nightmare beast let out a low, almost contented rumble, sitting back on its haunches. The cadets slowly exhaled, some wiping sweat from their foreheads, others still frozen in awe. Marcus looked around, eyes twinkling. All right, everyone. That's enough watching for now. But don't worry, we're just getting started. And for the first time, the cadets felt something they had never expected. Hope. The station hummed with tension, each cadet holding their breath as Marcus moved closer to the nightmare beast. It lounged in a corner of the observation deck, muscles tense but eyes fixed on him, glowing faintly in the dim light. The air was thick with anticipation, every small sound echoing like thunder in the silent room. Kelry shifted uneasily, whispering, I don't know how he does it, nothing we've taught has ever worked like this. Marcus crouched again, voice soft. Hey, I know it's strange. You've never trusted anyone before, have you? The creature's ears twitched and a low rumble responded, almost like a question. Marcus laughed softly, leaning back slightly. Well, that's okay. We'll figure it out together. The cadets watched, frozen between awe and fear. One of them, young and trembling, dared to ask, what if it attacks? What if it's just pretending? Marcus's eyes met theirs, calm and unwavering. Then I'll handle it. But I think it's more curious than cruel. Fear doesn't always mean danger. The nightmare beast rose, towering over Marcus, every movement deliberate and heavy. The floor trembled slightly under its weight. It circled him slowly, nostrils flaring, tail swishing, claws clicking softly against the metal. The cadet stepped back instinctively, hearts pounding. Marcus raised his hand, palm open. I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to understand. The creature stopped mid-circle, head tilting, studying the human with an intensity that made the cadets shiver. Then unexpectedly it lunged, not with aggression but with sudden, playful energy. It knocked over a crate, sending tools clanging to the floor. Marcus stumbled slightly, then laughed loudly, clapping his hands. Good one. That was quick. The cadets stared in disbelief. No one else would have dared to respond with laughter. Kelry muttered almost to themselves, "It's learning from him. From his reactions. This isn't just fear, it's respect. Or something stronger." The creature paused, sniffing Marcus's shoulder, leaning into him as if testing boundaries. Marcus crouched further, letting it nuzzle him. "See? We can work together. You and me. No tricks, no fear." The low rumble from the beast turned into a deep, almost contented growl. Suddenly an alarm blared. Red lights flashed across the deck. The cadets froze again, panic rising instantly. "Intruder alert. Unauthorized access detected in Sector 7. The intercom screamed. Marcus didn't flinch. He held a hand up, signaling the cadets to stay calm. The nightmare beast stiffened, ears pricked, body coiled like a spring. It turned toward the source of the alarm, growling low. Marcus took a step forward, eyes focused. "Looks like we have company." The cadets gasped as figures appeared on the security monitors. Rogue scavengers trying to breach the station. They moved fast, equipped with weapons, unaware of the creature in their path. Marcus glanced at the nightmare beast. "You see that? They think they can just walk in here. Think they can threaten us." The beast's growl deepened, resonating through the metal floors. It moved closer to Marcus, protective but poised, muscles rippling as it prepared to defend. The cadets couldn't believe what they were seeing. A predator, once a nightmare, now a guardian. Marcus crouched, meeting its gaze. "I trust you. Do you trust me?" The creature's eyes narrowed, then blinked slowly, a gesture that somehow felt like agreement. Kelry whispered, awestruck, "It's bonding. Beyond logic. Beyond reason." A loud crash sounded in the hallway as the scavengers forced entry. The nightmare beast roared, shaking the deck with its sheer presence. The human didn't panic. Instead, he raised his voice, calm but commanding. "Stay back. You don't understand who you're messing with." The creature leapt forward, faster than anyone expected. It intercepted the intruders, knocking one aside with a sweep of its massive limbs, claws glinting dangerously. Marcus moved beside it, coordinating silently, his laughter cutting through the chaos. "Careful, careful, easy now." The cadets felt their fear melt into exhilaration. They had never seen such a bond between human and creature. Every move Marcus made was mirrored, complemented, and enhanced by the nightmare beast. Together they were unstoppable, a living, breathing team that defied all logic. One cadet, voice shaking but filled with awe, whispered, "It's like they're communicating without words." Marcus nodded slightly, still crouched, eyes sharp. "Exactly. Trust is stronger than fear. Understanding is stronger than instinct." The intruders faltered, confused and terrified by the synchronized duo. The nightmare beast's roar echoed again, a mixture of warning and dominance. Marcus's laughter rang out, fearless, almost magnetic. The cadets realized something profound. This human wasn't just brave, he was rewriting what it meant to face danger. As the scavengers retreated, stumbling back, the nightmare beast relaxed slightly, settling beside Marcus. The human extended a hand to the creature, and it nudged him gently, almost affectionately. The cadets couldn't stop staring. Kelry exhaled slowly, awestruck. I've never seen anything like this. He's not controlling it. He's connecting. Really connecting." Marcus patted the creature's massive head. "You see? Fear doesn't have to be the end. Sometimes it's just the beginning." The cadets felt a strange warmth amidst the lingering tension. The bond they witnessed wasn't just survival, it was a revelation. And for the first time they understood. The human and the nightmare beast were no longer just teacher and creature or predator and prey. They were partners and nothing would be the same again. The station lay quiet, the echoes of the earlier chaos fading into tense stillness. The cadets stood frozen, still recovering from the adrenaline that had raced through their veins. The nightmare beast, massive and imposing, sat calmly beside Marcus, tail sweeping the floor lazily, eyes still glowing with intelligence. It wasn't just a creature anymore, it was a partner, a being that had seen reason in human courage and laughter. Kelry's voice trembled, barely a whisper. I never imagined anything like this. It listens, it understands." Marcus smiled, brushing a hand over the beast's mane-like fur. "It's not about force. Not about control. It's about connection. Fear ends when trust begins." The cadets watched, awestruck, as the human's calm radiated across the room. A sudden commotion outside the observation deck broke the momentary calm. The scavengers had regrouped, trying again to breach the station. Alarms blared, lights flashed, and panic threatened to rise again. But Marcus didn't flinch. "Everyone stay sharp but don't panic," he ordered. His voice was steady, confident, and strangely soothing. The cadets obeyed, hearts hammering, unsure how he remained so calm. The nightmare beast rose, muscles rippling under its thick, scaled skin. It gave a low, rumbling growl that reverberated through the metal walls. Marcus stepped forward, voice soft but commanding. "They're not your enemy unless they choose to be. Watch closely." The scavengers burst in, weapons raised, expecting chaos. Instead, they were met by the sheer presence of the nightmare beast, standing protectively before Marcus. It moved with precision, not cruelty, just calculated authority. Every step was a warning, every shift of weight a signal of strength. Marcus didn't raise a weapon. He crouched slightly, eyes locked on the intruders. "You don't have to fight. You can leave. Choose peace instead of fear." The cadets blinked, unsure if he was serious. But then they saw it. The beast, instead of attacking, mirrored Marcus's calm. Its stance softened slightly, head tilting as if questioning the intruder's intent. The scavengers hesitated, confusion replacing aggression. One of them, voice shaky, demanded, What is this? That thing? It's enormous." Marcus laughed softly, almost kindly. "It's not just enormous. It's alive. Feels. And it understands more than you think." He stepped closer to the beast, hand resting lightly on its shoulder. "See? We don't need to destroy each other to survive." The intruders faltered. Some lowered their weapons, realizing that the human's calm presence and the creature's restrained power were far more dangerous than rage or chaos. Slowly, one by one, they began to retreat, their fear and respect growing in tandem. Kelry whispered, voice filled with wonder, It's like they're teaching us. Not fighting, just showing another way." The nightmare beast lowered itself to the ground again, chest heaving, eyes soft but alert. Marcus crouched beside it, speaking gently. "This is how it works. Fear can be transformed. Understanding can conquer instinct." He looked at the cadets, who were still staring, minds racing to grasp the lesson. A quiet fell over the station. The only sound was the soft breathing of the human and the beast, a rhythm of trust and patience. The cadets felt it, the energy of something larger than any danger, a force shaped by courage, connection, and respect. Kelry finally spoke, voice firm now, inspired. "We've been trained to fear, to react, to dominate, but this is different. This is something I can follow." Marcus nodded, eyes meeting each cadet's in turn. "That's the lesson. Strength isn't in weapons or force. It's in understanding, patience, and courage. Even in the face of nightmares, you can choose to see beyond fear." The nightmare beast nudged Marcus gently, a gesture that spoke more than words ever could. The cadets realized they were witnessing not just survival but evolution, a moment where humanity's best traits merged with raw instinct and wild power. A soft laugh escaped Marcus. "Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply be yourself. Show trust, show respect, and face the unknown with a steady heart." The cadets nodded, feeling a shift inside themselves. Fear had taught them lessons before, but this was deeper. This was proof that human curiosity, patience, and courage could transform even the most dangerous situations into opportunities for understanding. As the sun began to rise over the horizon, spilling light across the station's metal decks, the nightmare beast lay close to Marcus, calm and composed. The cadets stood back, hearts full, witnessing a bond that defied logic but carried undeniable truth. Kelry murmured, I think I understand now. Humanity isn't just about surviving. It's about connecting even when the odds are against you." Marcus nodded, a quiet pride in his eyes. "Exactly. That's the lesson the world doesn't always teach you. But it's the lesson that matters most." And with that, the cadets realized the reality of their new understanding. They had seen courage, patience, and trust shape the impossible. They had seen a nightmare become an ally, fear become respect, and chaos become harmony. The human had not only won the beast's trust but had reminded them all of the quiet, undeniable power of humanity. The station, once filled with fear and tension, now held a new kind of energy. One of hope, connection, and a promise that even nightmares could teach lessons worth learning.